Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my guide on Tempoross, the brand new skilling boss which was released into old school RuneScape today, the 24th of the 3rd, 2021. Now this boss has already been dubbed as Wintertodt, and you'll see the similarities. You basically farm a resource, you can use that resource raw or you can refine it to take down a skilling monster. And I tell you what, this is actually really fun. In my opinion, it's so much better than Wintertodt. Anyway, boys and girls, before we go any further in this video, if you are looking for a specific section, please use the chapters down below. If you don't know how to use them, go into the description. There will be timestamps so you can go to your desired section so you don't have to sit through the entire video. So where is Tempoross located and how do you get there? So Tempoross is located in a brand new location in the desert, which is called the Ruins of Unka. This is just northwest of Menethos and to the south of the quarry mine. The two fastest ways to get there are to either use your Camulet, which I wouldn't recommend, or if you come south of the bank in Al Kharid, there is a guy here with a ferry option. You can also just click on the ferry, and board it. This is definitely not a ferry. This is a boat, Jagex. I'm not sure why they called it that. However, this will take you directly to the platform where you can start the Tempoross boss. Alright, let's move on to the gear and inventory setup. So the best in-slot items to wear is of course the Spirit Angler outfit. However, no one watching this guide is currently going to have that. Moving on from that, you'll have the normal Angler outfit, which hopefully most people will have. That does give you a 2.5% XP boost when fishing, and that does include fishing in this minigame. If you don't have any of the Angler outfit, not to worry, just wear any lightweight reducing gear. Now just to give you an idea, I am 80 agility and I wore the full Angler outfit with some graceful gloves and I never ran out of run energy. I don't think I went below 80%. So I don't think lightweight reducing gear is at all needed. However, if you are low agility, that may affect you. Moving on from that, the weapons are quite important. So the crystal harpoon is the best in slot that you can wear. The reason for that is you can catch crystallized harpoon fish, which do not need to be cooked and give the most amount of XP. So if you do have a crystal harpoon, make sure you bring that with you. And of course, you want to bring these Elven Signet with you as well so you can save some of those precious charges. So moving on to the Infernal Harpoon. The Infernal Harpoon is also very, very good. So rather than having to cook all the fish, sometimes when you catch them using the Infernal Harpoon, it will automatically cook some of the fish for you, which obviously saves you a lot of time and gets you more points. Then moving on to the Dragon Harpoon. The Dragon Harpoon is slightly better than the normal Harpoon and of course the Barbtail Harpoon just because it does have a higher catch rate. And of course, if you're not 99, you can boost with the special attack, which you can also do with the Infernal and the Crystal Harpoon, which can plus your fishing level by 3, increasing the catch rate. Now please remember, if you are 99 fishing, there is no point using a special attack as you can boost past 99, but it doesn't help your catch rate at all. The Barbtail Harpoon is probably slightly better than the normal Harpoon just because you can equip it. And then as for your inventory setup, you want to take a rope, 3 buckets, and a hammer, and we'll go over why you need all of those later on. Now please remember, if you're not using an equipable harpoon, also bring your harpoon with you. So to start the Tempoross boss, first of all you want to run to the west of the dock and climb the ladder. Climb with the rope ladder, you'll go onto a boat, which will then load an instance to the Tempoross boss. As soon as there are 40 people on the boat, or more than 40 people, it will start an instance. The maximum you can have, I believe, is 40. The minimum you can have is 1. So you can do this solo. I haven't tested it solo yet, but I would recommend doing it in a group. So when you first load into the instance, you'll notice you're on one of 2 boats. You're either on the east side or the west side. Neither of them matter, they are a mirror of each other. However, if you're on the east side, you want to run to the south. If you're on the west side, like myself, you want to run to the north. Now, before we go down and start doing the minigame itself, or the mini boss itself, I'm going to show you guys what is on the boat. So there are some bucket spawns over here. There is a water pump. You want to get at least 3 buckets, as I mentioned before. Just fill them up with water, as it will help you out later on. There's also a rope spawn, a hammer spawn, and a harpoon spawn, just in case you lose any of those items whilst you are here. Now, not to worry, you shouldn't lose your crystal harpoon, dragon harpoon, infernal harpoon. You should only lose the harpoons that you can collect off the boat, which are normal harpoons. However, if you do lose something, I apologize. Please report it to Jagex. It's not my fault. You shouldn't lose anything. So you will notice that there are also ammunition crates up here and cannoneers. So you don't actually fire the cannons yourself. You just fill the ammunition crates up with fish, and the cannoneers will fire the fish over at Tempoross. At the start of the game, Tempoross will start out as a whirlpool with around about 50% energy. The energy will slowly climb to 100%, and then once the energy hits 100%, the Tempoross boss will appear out of the water, at which point, if you have any ammunition in the crates, the cannoneers will fire the fish over at Tempoross, which they are doing right now. You will also notice that when the energy gets down to 0%, Tempoross will temporarily disappear. Now, when that happens, I'll show you exactly what happens. The other thing you need to notice is the storm intensity. Now, no matter what, if that storm intensity gets to 100%, you will lose and you will end up back on the dock. So one thing you want to do is make sure you're defeating this quick enough so that storm intensity does not get to 100%. So once the energy hits 0%, like I said, Tempoross will subdue into the lair underwater, I don't know what you want to call it, and then you will want to run over to these pools, which will now become active. This is how you actually damage the boss. So whilst you're harpooning here, you'll notice that the essence goes down. The essence is essentially the health of Tempoross. Whilst we're doing this, Tempoross is regaining its energy. When it gets to 100%, these will become inactive again, and Tempoross will appear out of the water. You'll also notice that when Tempoross gets subdued, the storm intensity will always reset back to 0%. So now that energy is back at 100%, Tempoross will appear out of the water again, and you unfortunately cannot damage the essence anymore. Now you go back to collecting fish, loading them into the cannon, and then damaging Tempoross to finish off the last 16%. So I've just started a brand new minigame, and now I'm over at the fishing spots, fishing to get myself some raw harpoon fish. As I mentioned before, with the crystal harpoon, you do have a chance of catching crystallized harpoon fish, which are fantastic because they don't need to be cooked and they give the best XP as mentioned previously. So you just want to go to one of the harpoon spots here and just fish away. Now you will notice, usually after about a minute or so of you being on the island, one of these spots will move and one of them will become a leaping fish spot. When that happens, you want to move directly over to that as soon as possible, as when the leaping fish is coming out of the water, you will have a chance of catching double fish, which is fantastic. So now that's moved, there we go. Now this fish spot over here, like I said, when you're fishing from it, you have a chance of catching 2 fish at a time, which is phenomenal. So there you go. As you see, we just caught 2 fish at the same time, and again, back to back. So when you have a full inventory of fish, you want to go over to one of the shrines and cook it. Now, I would definitely recommend cooking the fish. As I mentioned before, the crystallized fish cannot be cooked. However, the raw fish can. So now we have a full inventory of cooked fish and the crystallized fish. We're going to run up to the boat, and then we're going to start loading the fish into the ammunition crates. You do get a little bit of XP for this. I believe you get the XP when they start firing them. As you can see, 102 XP, 103 XP. And now you can see here with the crystallized fish, we do get 123 XP each. Now what you want to do when you finish is just go back down to the harpoon spots and start catching more fish. Not to worry, the energy will go down because your teammates will also be firing the fish. Now that the essence is down, or the energy is down to 0, we want to move over to these inactive pools and wait for them to become active. And again, click on it, wait for the essence to go down as much as possible. So the energy is back at 100%. Tempoross has left the water. I am going to go ahead and get myself a little bit more food though. So from time to time, you'll notice that these storm clouds, it'll say a strong wind is blowing in and the clouds roll in. You just want to douse the fire with your buckets of water. If you don't do that, they will spread, and they can spread quite far along the map actually. If you get hit by them as well, you will lose a lot of the food that you have in your inventory, as well as some of the other equipment. It's pretty much like getting washed away by the colossal wave, which is quite unfortunate. As you can see there, literally perfect timing. The Tempoross can fire a whirlwind attack, which will disable one of the cannons. If you're stood near it, it will electrocute you, and you'll be stunned for around about 2 or 3 ticks. It doesn't stun you for very long, but it does mean that cannon is now out of action, and unfortunately, no one can use it. Moving on to the last and final sort of like mini distraction, you have to tether yourself to the mast sometimes, or to the totem poles, which can be found at the north and south of the island. I did try and repair that then. Sometimes they do break, so sometimes rather than tether being on the mast and on the totem pole, it will in fact just say repair. So make sure you're not repairing it rather than tethering to it. Sometimes you might have to double click. And then finally moving on to finish off the boss down here, the energy is back at 0%. As I mentioned earlier, the essence does not re-heal, so it is still at 29%. So we should be able to finish this off now. This will end up killing the boss. But as you can see there, that's finished up. So you need 2,000 points to get any points at all. And I believe it rolls off every 1,000 points after that. You get an extra point, or you have a chance of getting an extra permit. I'm not entirely sure how it works. But the best way to leave is just to go over to the first mate and just right click and leave. Because for some unknown reason, the game takes like 5 seconds to end. So here's a clip of me earlier claiming some rewards on my hardcore Iron Man. As you can see, you need a small fishing net for this, but if you just go to the south of the dock, you can just claim your rewards from this pool. It's actually really cool. I learned the concept of this. Rather than getting a crate, you can just store up these reward points, and every time you fish successfully, you do get an item or something. So there are something called spirit flakes, which I'll go over what they do in a second. But basically, I'll speed through this now, and you can see what I got from 60 points. I'll also put the exact loot table on screen screen right now so you can see exactly what you get from it. From the caskets, by the way, that you get from here, you get a number of things, but mainly it is runite items from anything from a square shield, rune plate body, chain bodies, jewelry, bracelets, you can get things like that, bars, as well as clue scrolls, tooth and loop half of keys, and coins. So it's pretty good, to be honest. It's not bad. The money isn't great, though. I'm not going to lie. The items that you get are pretty trash, but you can get some sea turtles and things like that. I think it goes off your fishing and cooking level, but don't quote me on that. You can get the tome of water from here, the fish barrel. The fish barrel I was lucky enough to get. That does hold 28 raw fish, so very happy to get that done. So as I mentioned with the fish flakes, if you just take them over to this person here, oh actually no, first, with the fish flakes in your inventory, when fishing, you have a 50% chance of catching an extra fish. So that can be quite useful if you're fishing like anglerfish or something, which is what I think I'll probably use mine on. However, I am going to go for the Spirit Angler outfit. I don't know why, I just think it looks pretty cool. Now to get that, you need to come over and talk to this person, which is pretty much in the center of the town, just to the east of the dock. Ask about the outfit, I'll talk about the outfit, run through the dialogue option, again select the Spirit Angler outfit, and then she'll explain to you that you need to get 1200 spirit flakes and the hat, or each individual piece. So you need 1200 pieces per item to recolor it. And of course, once you get the full outfit, as I mentioned earlier, you no longer need a rope when doing the minigame, because you can just heavy yourself using the outfit, because it does have a rope attached to it somewhere. I think it's around the chest area. Anyway, boys and girls, as always, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to smash that like button. If you're new around here, maybe consider subscribing. I do make hardcore Iron Man content every single Saturday, so for those regulars, I'll see you on Saturday for a new upload. Peace out, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.